The morning light struggled to pierce the thick fog. It was like the forest itself was exhaling ghostly breath. The air hung heavy and damp, filled with the smell of decaying leaves and something faintly metallic. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the occasional screech of a crow. It felt as if the woods were watching, waiting. Emma shivered, pulling her jacket tighter around her. She was exhausted, her mind still reeling from the unsettling dream that had jolted her awake. It had felt so real, she couldn't shake off the feeling of dread that clung to her like cobwebs. "You all right, Em?" Ryan asked, his voice a little too loud in the stillness. Emma hesitated. How could she explain the dream? The fear that seemed to have seeped into her bones? "Yeah, just a bit creeped out, I guess," she mumbled, forcing a smile. The others were already moving ahead, eager to start their adventure. They were on a quest to find the old Blackwood cabin, a local legend whispered about in hushed tones. But as they ventured deeper into the woods, the shadows seemed to deepen and the air grew colder. The trail was barely visible, swallowed by years of neglect. Twisted branches, gnarled like arthritic fingers, reached out as if trying to snag them. Emma couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent chills down her spine. She kept glancing over her shoulder, half expecting to see something sinister lurking behind the trees. "Are we lost?" Sarah's voice was tight with anxiety. They had been walking for what felt like hours, the dense canopy above blocking out the sun. The path, faint to begin with, had completely vanished. Panic welled up in Emma's chest. "No, we can't be lost," Ryan insisted, his voice betraying a flicker of uncertainty. They pushed on, the forest seeming to press in around them. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of pine needles and damp earth. The silence was broken only by their own ragged breaths and the frantic hammering of Emma's heart. A sudden movement caught her eye, a fleeting shadow darting behind a massive oak. She stopped short, her breath catching in her throat. "Did you see that?" she whispered, her voice trembling. They stumbled upon the cabin just as dusk was settling in, casting long, eerie shadows across the forest floor. It was a dilapidated structure, its once proud logs rotting and overgrown with moss. A rickety porch sagged precariously at the front, and the windows were boarded shut. An oppressive silence hung over the clearing, as if the forest itself held its breath. Cautiously they approached. Ryan pushed open the creaking door, revealing a dusty, cobweb-filled interior. The musty smell of decay filled their nostrils. They stepped inside, their footsteps echoing in the stillness. A single shaft of light from the setting sun pierced through a crack in the boarded-up window, illuminating a heavy wooden chest tucked away in a corner. With trembling hands, they lifted the lid. Inside, nestled amongst yellowed lace and moth-eaten velvet, lay a leather-bound journal.